That was not about to be a show. The camera came on before I was ready. Crap. I might have to edit the beginning of that. Hi, good evening. Oh my god, look at my face. Guys, I don't think I have the English words to describe how effing hot it is. Okay, yes. I think I'm doing too much now. I don't have the English word to describe how unbearably hot it is in London, y'all. Oh my god. Good evening, everyone. My name is Neka. Woo! We are going live. Apologies, I know it is a Sunday evening, and I never do this on a Sunday evening because Sundays are my day of rest. Hi, Marlene Nicholson, how are you? Sundays are my day of rest, but we didn't film yesterday. Guys, like I said, I do not have the English words to describe how effing hot it is. I have fans, I might go and move my fan a bit. This is literally the lightest thing I could wear for this live. And I've had to keep my laptop as far away from me as possible. Hope everybody is doing okay. Good evening, everyone. So I'm going to give it a few minutes, as we always do. Let's get some more people here. I hope you're all doing okay. Please drop a like. Please drop a heart in the chat. Hi. I'm also using a new phone now for the filming. I was assured that this is going to give better quality. Guys, let me know your thoughts. Are you getting better quality, or was I giving false information? That is true, but you have to understand, those of us that live in the UK, right? And I know I've seen comments on this like this before. I appreciate that 30 degrees something is nothing to you guys, but the UK is not designed for hot weather. It is not. These houses are insulated. Even though this house is not even that well insulated, they are not built for heat. So I was joking with some colleagues at work that it is so painful to me that during summer it's like you can't get the heat out of your house, but during winter it's like you can't get the heat to stay in your house, which is just the weirdest thing. Because I live in an old Victorian. I wish it was a Victorian. I'll say Georgian. Elizabeth, I don't know. Elizabethan. This house was probably built in the 1940s, so it's not. Yeah. Hi guys. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Like I said, this is an oddity. We don't really. I never do lives on Sundays because I know Sundays people are at church. It's their day of rest. But I didn't do any yesterday. And guys, too much has happened. We need to discuss the tea. And I was like, I can't leave my people hanging like this. The tea is me. There is a lot of tea this week. So much from our sister Kate's magical cancer to William William continuing his father's criminal behavior by collecting bribes. And guys, the shenanigans in the royal family, they continue to be a disgrace as far as I am concerned. Those of you who disagree, honestly, not my problem. So I'm going to do something. Let me just quickly. Should I give it high resolution? I'll keep it low. Lack of adequate insulation. Oh girl. I don't have the words. As in, I don't think there are enough words to describe the shenanigans with the UK building. Literally nothing for the so-called country that was literally. This is the one thing I would only ever give the UK any props for. They were the gods of innovation in the 19th century, in the Victorian times. What were they not innovating? Trains, automation. We were leaders. We were leaders. Yes, they were exploiting slave labor. Yes, they exploited slave labor. I'm well aware. But still, it was like everybody. You know how when you go to Silicon Valley and you can literally feel the energy in the air. Everybody has an idea, you could feel the buzz in the air. Now everything has gone to absolute shite. We can't even build simple trains on this tiny island. We can't build them without breaking the bank and blowing budgets. But that's not why you're here. As somebody who is interested in socio-political and socioeconomic discussions like I am, I always try to figure out, okay, what would be the best channel to have that discussion in. I can't make as many channels as possible. Right now I only have my tech channel and this channel. Tech channel I'm trying to grow, so I mean there is no space for these types of discussions. So yeah, giving it like 2 more minutes, then we get right to the tea. I have some videos that I am importing, but yeah, let me get back to it. I hope everybody's having a good weekend. I hope you've had a good weekend. Today we are going to be discussing Duchess Sussex. We're going to be talking about Prince Harry's wonderful. He had a surprise visit at Nexus, continuing his philanthropic work, and we're going to get down to the shady Windsors, the criminal element that is the British royal family. And of course, we're going to drag the ridiculous biased reporting of the royal rooter, because instead of them to do their job and give us the tea, they are harassing Harry and Meghan that are slowly on their ways to becoming millionaires. Do you see how ridiculous these people are? Oh, sorry. I'm trying to log into my Mac. Bear with me. What? Laptop, do not play with me today. Yeah, it's going in. Yep, we're in. Guys, happy Sunday. Only 30 people. Oh. What are you thinking? Like I said, I appreciate this is not an ideal time to stream because it's a Sunday. But like I said, please bear with me. Okay, this is an experiment. If it doesn't work out, then I will not stream on Sunday again. A quick discussion on politics. New Yorkers, anybody in the US, are you guys excited about this person, Zoran Mamdani? He sounds like good. He sounds like good people. Americans, what are you feeling about him? Let me see the camera quality of this chat. Hey, Salvatore, love you too. Homeless and dumb, the royal apeds and inbreds. Well, I'm not gonna argue with you there. Guys, if you can support the channel with a super chat, I'm going to leave some super chats. Any amount is appreciated. Feel free to give what you can. I'm not setting a timer because that's stupid. Yeah. I'm just waiting for my videos to keep uploading. And of course, we have... Can you stand up for us, please? No. So, of course, we have the Daily Mail Royals who are going to drag. Because, as usual, they continue to give stupid takes. As usual. I'm going to put a poll about your thoughts on something I would like to do very shortly. and we can be debating in the chat. Oh, thank you, Mr. Himanshu. I hope you are well. So yes, guys. So like I said, I'm just waiting for the exports to finish. Yes. Let me upload. Then we're going to start today with what I call karma. I have to play this. What's today is this? Today is the 30th, 29th. 29. The video is uploading. Sorry guys for the delay. Hi Joyce, hi Tracy. I mean, I'm looking at the camera on my laptop. It does feel like a better quality. It doesn't feel as smudged as it used to be, so that's not bad. I'm quite pleased. So I guess we'll keep this camera. Yeah. Hi Joyce, you've come just in time. I had to shake my dreads. Ooh. I had to give us at least 10 minutes to kind of, warm up and get some of the fans on here. Good evening, everyone. Like I said, this is an unusual time to be posting live, but I'm doing it today because I couldn't do it tomorrow. Based on the people that viewed today, I will see if doing things on Sunday is okay. If it's not, then I will stop doing it on Sunday and keep it to Saturday evening, because I think we made good traction last time. So let me start. Okay. So let's start. Let me see if the video has finished uploading. Sorry guys, these things are taking quite some time. I wanted us to start with this video, but I think what I'm going to do is, so that we can get started, we're going to start with Daily Mail Royals. Yes. Oh. I'm going to start with Daily Mail Royals. Now, like I said, I usually ignore these people because they are stupid and they say stupid.
But I didn't know how to stay stopped. I didn't know how to stay stopped.
And they say, and 99.9% of the things they say are bloody lies. But just because, but you know what, guys? They are only making content for money, and I'm also making content to while I am trying to support Duchess Meghan. If they can lie with as much brazenness as possible, then we can drag them and also make money. Why not? So Daily Mail Royals, for those of you that are new to the channel, is hosted by these three desperate losers looking for engagement. Have you noticed, guys, that ever since Harry and Meghan left, the royal rota are getting increasingly desperate for engagement? They create channels on YouTube. They are basically internet trolls. They're basically internet trolls at this point, all because they can't get access to Harry and or Meghan. So we're going to start with Daily Mail Royals, which is made up of Richard Eden, aka Maureen, and slapped ass. I refuse to learn that woman's name, and of course so-called royal reporter Becky Bighead. She used to be big back, but she unbigged her back, and I have to give props where props are due. We're all on a diet, so it's all good. Let me share my screen. So these are the idiots we're going to be listening to and dragging while we react to their content. Listen to this, guys.
International reach.
It's genuinely touching, actually.
That's lovely. Right, let's get back to the royal events of the week now. Richard, we had another video from Meghan, didn't we?
This is becoming a bit of a thing. So
She's on Instagram. She's got to port those products.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But she sort of, puts up a new range of jam or whatever, and then it sells out because it's not very big. And then she records a video saying,
Isn't it just?
then she records a video saying, "I'm so grateful, thank you." And this one again was featuring her daughter Lilibet. You know, I don't mean rude, but you know, we're becoming so familiar with Lilibet's back. You never see her face. I just think either sort of feature the children and have their faces, or just leave them out of your product launches. It just really grates with me.
Well, this did come after the team said that they've sold out of their products, that you obviously are a bit dubious about that.
I want the figures. I demand to see the figures. You know, how many have they sold? It's ridiculous, isn't it? They sell out. What if you've got 5? You can say you sold out.
Well, I don't know. Do you?
Well, it's interesting because they gave some exclusive quotes about this to a magazine, I can't remember which one, and saying we actually have 3 times more products or something like that than we did on the first range. But then they still don't say but how many units they were actually trying to push in the first place. And I think that, as you rightly say, is the key figure. Is it that demand is outstripping production, or is it that it's just a very limited teaser all the time? No one knows.
And they've given very limited information about sort of where these products come from. You know, where's the fruit coming from for these jams?
It's not coming from Meghan's orchard. Her
No.
orchard Riviera.
The original ones were.
Right.
The original jams that she sent to friends were actually from.
Gosh, I'm naive. I
made from
genuinely
fruit.
believe that that's where it was all coming from.
Well, and did you see the story on Mail Online this week about the? So they very cleverly spotted on her website and how.
Okay, so let me just quickly, because if you see, this is why these idiots in the Royal Rota, like I said, they've become internet trolls. So let me, I should have given a disclaimer. 99.9% of what you will hear on this channel is an effing lie. Anything that comes from these people, Maureen, Big Head, and Slapped Ass, it is a lie. Let me tell you, let's debunk the lies. Meghan did sell out. The video that he showed, because he doesn't want to show Meghan selling out, because they are doing everything in their power to discredit Meghan as a businesswoman. This isn't some nice hobby that she is doing off the side of her desk. This is something that has the full backing of Netflix, a multi-billion-dollar company. Now, let us use some common sense here, right? Meghan did not sell out 5 jars. It is a very stupid and hater and shady thing to say. Why? Because, as ever, is a business that hires people. Meghan is not sitting down in her kitchen loading the jars herself. They have a factory, they have inventory, they have SKUs, they have a business. This is a full functioning business, right? Why would she sell only 5 jars? Why would she sell 50 jars? Is she not going to pay her staff? Is Netflix not trying to recoup their investment? Is Netflix funding this out of the goodness of their hearts? It's a business. So no, they did not. And let me also clarify. Because again, they are trying to discredit Meghan as a businesswoman. Meghan has on multiple occasions given interviews to Fast Company and other business outlets. When they had their first drop, they produced tens of thousands of products. That sold out in 45 minutes. When they had their next drop, Meghan said, even though Becky Bighead is pretending like she didn't read the article, it was not 3 times, it was 10 times. Guys, if you were in my live last week, we recapped the article. It was in style. Meghan sold out 10 times her inventory. So let's do the math. Let's say the teas were 100,000. Let's say the apricot spread was 100,000. I'm throwing numbers, bear with me. What I believe was limited was the keepsake. Maybe they had a few thousand. Maybe I can give them, let's say instead of 100,000, they had 3% of that. So let's say 30,000 of the keepsake, 30,000 of the honey, all sold out. Those of you that understand basic primary school arithmetic, do the math. Now, it's very interesting that they are asking, they want to see the figures. The royal family, using the royal brand, the king and his ilk of working royals, using their titles, by the way, sell products. How many times have they asked to see their stock count? Is it because nobody is selling it out? Is it because nobody gives an esh? Yeah? Is it because nobody gives an F? Nobody in the royal family is going to sell out anything. The king has been hawking his products for years. Not one person, not one of those products have sold out. In fact, guys, I don't know if you observed this because I saw the ad. I was looking for the video. When Meghan announced that she's going to release her rosé, which, as we know, is also going to sell out, the king quickly went to go and announce to the world that High Grove is also selling rosé. Of course, I'm not going to buy that crap. That is for the derangers, like some of them in my chat right now. If you guys want to waste your money, feel free to waste it on the king's products. I am not going to buy it. So I wanted to very quickly debunk the nonsense because, again, I want us to. This is just to let you know and to give you the scale at which these idiots lie. Let's continue.
This escapes me, I'm complete Luddite, but there's metadata which shows where her tea's from. And so her tea is actually from a factory that's something like 500 miles away from California that produces a similar hibiscus tea but in a different shaped tea bag for 3 times less than Meghan is selling it for. And they put it to them and said, well, is this the same tea, just in a different shaped bag? And apparently they refused to get back to them. So
that's not true either.
That's what you will, people.
Well, it's all about marketing, and credit to Meghan, she's certainly putting a lot of effort into that marketing.
Wow, Richard, was that a compliment?
A barbed one.
Now, Rebecca, we were at Royal Ascot last week, so we didn't discuss Meghan's controversial appearance on the podcast where she talked about lies. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I wrote a big piece on this because I thought it was very, very interesting. So it was she appeared in the run-up to the As Ever launch on the Aspire podcast to basically plug this forthcoming extended range of hers. And the host asked a very clever question, I thought, which was...
The host being Emma Green.
Yeah. If you wanted to change anything about your kind of, your public profile, is there anything that you would change or do differently? Now, you'd expect someone to maybe slightly look inwardly at themselves. Meghan batted this straight back, and it wasn't an inward look. She said, I would ask people to tell the truth about me, and then went on to talk about a mysterious lie that had been told about her 8 years ago, but not saying what that lie was and how, it surely couldn't hang around for a lifetime. And Buckingham Palace did not want to comment on this, obviously. They really don't want to get into public spats with Harry and Meghan anymore, unless they involve twerking videos at Buckingham Palace.
Oh, yeah.
But I spoke to a lot of well-placed people in royal circles.
Yes, you wrote a piece about it for the Mail, which was fascinating.
And I hate to use the word eyebrow raising because it's an overused word in the way that olive branch is in my business. But they were like, I think there's a lot of people actually around Harry and Meghan who would very much like to tell the truth about their experiences working for them, alongside them, and with them. And maybe you should, be careful what you wish for, Meghan.
May I ask, why don't they tell the truth? Because
I'm
thinking of, maybe it's the wrong link, but I'm thinking about this investigation into bullying of which we never knew the outcome and things like that could...
Absolutely. I mean, look, there is the kind of royal equivalent of NDAs.
Please.
Also, I made the point in the piece
Please.
People who work for the royal household have a lot of dignity and a lot of honour.
And
they believe that you go into that kind of service for crown and country, and you don't start tackling outside of it about members of the royal family. And I know I will be criticised for saying that in some ways because, a lot has come out of Harry and Meghan, but I think those at the heart of it really haven't told their story fully. Because
look, I'll just say, we had lots of people made serious claims against Meghan, and we only knew about it because there were some leaked emails. And then we had the Buckingham Palace investigation into these bullying claims, and that's never been made public. So I would say, make it public.
And also...
I agree.
Is there anybody who can maybe... I'll get in trouble saying this, but is there anyone who can put pressure on Meghan? We've got, somebody was racist about my baby, but we don't know who. Now we've got somebody told this mysterious lie, but I'm not going to say what or who. She can't just keep throwing those little speculative pieces out.
Exactly, Joe. And this is what someone made the point to me on a very serious basis. They said, look, why is she going back? Why couldn't she just answer the question in a positive way? Why is there constant needling and digging and, casting conjecture on a time as a member of the royal family? It's a bit of a running sore. Why does she need to keep on kind of, picking at it? And also, if you are going to keep on doing that, if you're going to keep on digging, you might not like what comes up.
Well, yeah, it might come back to bite us.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember what Meghan's response to those bullying claims was at the time was, these are lies. This is completely untrue. So she was accusing these people of lying. And, we want to see, give them a chance to say. I mean, they often haven't had that chance because they've signed agreements or whatever. And
that is a lie.
Yeah, so there's a lot of mud has been thrown, and it does seem unfair on those staff.
I also know for a fact that I only know a little about the bullying claims process, but I know for a fact that some people I think should have been interviewed weren't. So I'm not sure. I've never been particularly convinced. I don't know why, and I don't think they know why. So I'm not entirely convinced it really went to the nth degree in getting to the bottom of them anyways.
Okay. So I love that bomb, guys, because again, what we do on this channel as much as possible is we discredit the bullshit. Let's start with that bullying claim allegation. Test your gangster. Name a name. Harry and Meghan, because rightfully so, in this bullying allegations, let me again, like I said, 99% of what these idiots are saying is a bald-faced lie. One, the bullying allegations did not come out onto the Oprah interview. Someone just posted that here. Shout out to you, Jerry. Second, guess who leaked it? Prince William's alleged boyfriend, Jason North. No other person has come out to say a damn thing about Meghan. No other person. And let me tell you how ridiculous these bullying claims are. They came out the same day of the Oprah interview to try and, because they knew Meghan and Harry were going to say something. They knew they were going to say something that would make the royal family look bad. So they were scrambling. And you know what I love Harry and Meghan did? Harry and Meghan, through themselves as well as their lawyers, hit out and said, you are accusing me of bullying. Who? Who? Name names. Name names. Their lawyers came to them and said, name names. So what the British royal family did was they went to hire a law firm to give that independent review. Where's the report? It's been 5 years. And let's not even play that game. The royal family is not protecting Meghan. Guys, come on now. Derangers in my chat. Name one time when the royal family has protected Meghan. You think if there were not real bullying claims, they wouldn't have sent her to the wolves? What? She accused the royal family of racism. She called out the bullshit. You expect me to believe that if there were real allegations of bullying, documented facts of bullying, the royal family would not have made it public? You're saying there are NDAs. NDAs will not stop you from talking about something that happened to you. I'm not stupid now. This is Googleable. I live in the UK. I don't. That is US law. NDAs don't work that way here, especially against employee complaints or employer tribunals. We have things like whistleblower culture, right? Whistleblowing protects employees, including royal staff. You are complaining about something that has happened and is wrong. Your job is protected, and in many cases your privacy is protected. So who is this person? Who are these people who were bullied by Meghan, who have never come forward to say anything? And again, guys, those of you that are derangers, I want you to use your brain. When has the royal family protected Meghan? So why protect her on this now? Why hide it? Why? She's come out and said that you people made racist comments against her child. And let me just clarify. It wasn't a name. It was revealed that it was Kate, Princess Catherine, and the king. So let's not pretend as if nothing has come out. Something has come out. And let me say it again. Neither Harry, Meghan, or the Sussex camp or the Windsors disputed that comment. No one from the Windsors or the Sussex camp came out to dispute that Princess Catherine and King Charles were the two people that were concerned about how dark Archie's skin is. Play with yourself, don't play with me. And don't play with us in the Sussex squad, because we keep records. While these three idiots can come here and lie because they want access to the royal family, right? We keep records, and that's why we do these reactions. If you're saying somebody accused you of bullying, Harry and Meghan brought their lawyers out. Why couldn't they name names? To the person in my chat that's telling me it followed her to America, even staff in America have gone on record. No, they haven't. Staff in America went on record, named their names, their jobs, their position, and named their experiences working with Meghan. And not one person mentioned that Meghan was bullying them. So for those of you in my chat saying that, there's evidence, name a name. I'm serious, we're live, right? Put it in the chat. Name a name of somebody who came forward to say Meghan and or Harry. You know what? Let me keep it simple. Let me keep it simple for you. Name a name of one person that Meghan bullied. Put it in the chat. Guys, hold on. She said Rebel Wilson. Rebel Wilson, thank you, Kimberly. You already answered it for me. I don't even have to answer. But I'll say it. Rebel Wilson is an idiot. Meghan, according to her, we don't even know if this is true. And don't forget, Rebel Wilson had, according to what was written, Rebel Wilson and her mom said something bad about Meghan. Then she met Meghan. And according to her, Meghan did not respond to her greeting. Do we know what she said to Meghan? Especially if Meghan and her mom, Rebel and her mom insulted her before Rebel met her. Why does she owe her niceness? If you insult me before you meet me and I meet you, why the F do I owe you? What? Are you all high? The Rangers, are you well at all? Is it crack? Are you on drugs? Or have you been consuming nonsense and your brains no longer work? Anyway, let's continue with the idiots here.
That's an interesting one. Now, sticking with the Sussexes just for a second, Richard, there was a report in the Mail on Sunday that suggested that Prince Harry might be making overtures towards the rest of the royals.
Yes, this is really interesting. I mean, it's looking ahead quite a long way. It's the Invictus Games are coming back to Britain in 2027, so not for 2 years. But what Charlotte Griffiths was reporting was that members of the royal family will be invited to those events. And quite rightly that they should be, because the Invictus Games wasn't just established by Prince Harry. You know, remember when it was launched, we had the King there, and Queen Camilla, and Prince William was very much part of it, because it was his royal foundation with Catherine that launched the Invictus Games.
That's a lie!
Since then, Harry has left. But it has to be said, I mean, it will put the royals in a difficult position at that time, you know, because they don't have that relationship with Prince Harry now. It's a very worthy cause. And they wouldn't want to look, you know, petty or churlish by not being involved. So it is an awkward one, but as we say, it's not for 2 years, so a lot of things might have changed by then.
I did ask the palace about it this week, and it's not something they're being drawn on, but I do think this is going to be an awkward one for them over the next few months, because obviously the King is head of the armed forces and he wants to be supportive of our serving military and those that have left the military for whatever reason. It's going to be a tricky one for them, I think. And I was there actually when he launched in 2014. I remember it. You know, the King coming. I think Queen Camilla came. William was there. You know, it was. They were genuinely very proud of him and what he'd achieved there. I could see their faces right there smiling when he gave his speech. So there was a lot of goodwill towards it. It's going to be a tricky one.
I mean, to give you an example, when there was a service at Westminster Abbey to commemorate the founding of the Invictus Games quite recently, I don't think any members of the royal family attended, did they?
Certainly no senior members of the royal family.
No, we had members of the Spencer family, such as Earl Spencer did, but no senior members of the royal family. So, you know, it's a tricky question.
Yeah, well, we shall see. Now, I just want to talk about Catherine now, Rebecca. The Princess of Wales' last-minute withdrawal from
Oh, don't worry. That particular ridiculous one, I look forward to dragging Kate on that one, by the way. Yes, so let's quickly talk about the Invictus Games. You guys may have heard me scream that's a lie. So let's go to the Invictus Games website and get information. Guys, one sec. Because you see, the British media think we're stupid. Let's talk about the aims and the origin of the Invictus Games. Right. So let's talk about the Invictus Games, shall we? Established in 2014, the foundation is the charity that governs the delivery of the Invictus Games and acts as custodians of the Invictus spirit. This is me on their website. Let me see. Executive team. Let me see if there's more information about the founding. Let me see. Yeah. The Board of Trustees. The Invictus Foundation is chaired by Lord Allen of Kensington, alongside our Board of Trustees and the Duke of Sussex as patron. I don't know why they keep on bringing the Windsors or the King into this foundation. Why? Harry has done the legwork. A board sits behind it. If Charles or William had anything at all to do with it, it is, yes, I will give it to Richard to some extent, because you can't, from what I've been made to understand, I'm not a royalist, guys, please correct me if I'm wrong. When Harry was still a member of the royal family and he had the idea, he couldn't just raise money on his own. He had to go through the Royal Foundation, obviously, to get backers, to get countries involved, and using the royal the banner of the Royal Foundation, himself as the patron, he was able to build this foundation, yeah, and get countries to participate. It does not mean that Billy Idol and his lazy wife and the racist king had anything to do with the Invictus. By that conversation, we can say Ed Short is also Harry, is part of Harry as well, since we're pulling random people together into one thing. Harry has been the patron and sole face of the Invictus Games. He has been the sole face of the Invictus Games. Do not allow the royal family to remix history. This is why we do what we do, guys, because if we allow these idiots to keep on talking and lying, they will tell you that Harry was never abused as a child. Harry had a perfect 200% childhood. King Charles was not a philanderer and a disgrace and a terrible father and a racist. Don't allow them to remix the history. We know the facts. The facts are on the record. So I just wanted to clarify the Invictus Games. And I should also shout out to the Invictus Games. The Invictus Games so far, let me show you something, guys. The Invictus Games, Harry should be very proud of himself, because if you see the amount, 6 countries have now put a bid in, not just for the Invictus Games are taking place in Birmingham 2027, but they already have bids for 2029, and I'm very sure those bids will continue. The Invictus Games, honestly, is the only thing, let me say it again, it is literally the only thing the royal family has that they should be proud of for this generation. Not Ed Short, not what that disgrace of Commonwealth. And I put it to the Rangers. How many countries in the Commonwealth have raised their hands to say they would love to host the Commonwealth? I'll wait. So let me just, so I just wanted to clarify that for everyone. Do not let these people change history. We're not stupid. We can read, right? If you want to lie, to everybody, don't lie. If you want to lie to yourself, we wouldn't join you in that delulu. Right, so let me quickly hear their comments about Kate, because I have some thoughts about that as well. Let me, for those of you who also don't believe that there is a bias in the way they report the Harry and Meghan, let us listen to how they are going to report royal racist Kate.
It's a shock to you and all the others in the royal box last week. Now, you've been looking into the story, and gosh, you're busy. You've written a really interesting piece about it.
Well, you know, there has been kind of a lot of criticism about this, people saying you're criticising her for not going. We're not criticising her for her, but what I do know is that she was expected to go, and then suddenly she wasn't.
Yeah.
And we were told only after that carriage list came out that she wasn't going to be there. And you know, people forget that Kensington Palace did say she's disappointed not to be coming. So, you know, there was an expectation she would be there on the day, and she wasn't. And I thought it was just a timely reminder to have a look at how things have been for her. Because, of course, people forget this time last year she was undergoing chemotherapy after cancer was diagnosed following very serious abdominal surgery. That was literally only a year ago. She was in the throes of her chemotherapy and was only told in January she'd been in remission. And I wrote a piece towards the end of last year saying, look, while we will see her slightly returning to royal duties, it's going to be slightly piecemeal this year, feeling as they go. And again, at the time, I got some criticism, people saying, look, she's straight out the starting blocks at the beginning of the year. But lo and behold, actually, that is what we have seen, is a very slow and measured return. And someone said to me, look, some weeks you'll see her a lot, and some weeks you won't, and that's absolutely fine.
Oh, really?
You know, I've said that we wouldn't see her this week, but we'll almost certainly see her at Wimbledon.
Of course we will.
She will be taking part in a very significant way in the statements of the French President, Emmanuel Macron, in early July, and then she will take the summer off, and then we'll see where the autumn brings us. And my understanding is King Charles is very supportive of this, not only because he's just a decent man and, you know, has personal experience of what she's been going through, but also he knows that, you know, she plays a very significant role in the royal family, both now and obviously will do as future queen, and they want to make sure they get this right. So they're very supportive of her.
If you want to read that, we will put a link for that in the description below. Now, Richard, it you know, I mean, nobody wants Catherine to hurry back to full-time duties when she's not up to it. But it is always true, isn't it, that you really notice the missing star power whenever she's not at an event.
Yeah, I mean, Catherine was much missed. You know, she's been fantastic at Royal Ascot in the past, and you know, it's always great to see what she's wearing. She really lifts the event, so everyone was disappointed. But I think we all understand the most important thing is for her to be well, to stay well. I have to say though, with the King, I mean, wow, he went 5 consecutive days. You know, the hottest week of our year, boiling with all his...
Guys, I want you to pay attention to what he's about to say. Pay attention.
And I don't think he's a great racing fan, to be honest.
Well, I'm just about to say though, to me, he looked like he was really having a ball.
I think he was enjoying it. I think he knows that his wife, Queen Camilla, enjoys it, and I think it was his sense of duty. It was something that was very important to his mother, and he knows the importance of the royal family to Ascot. It was really heartening to see him, you know, every day. I just thought, wow, it's very impressive.
Indeed.
So it's interesting, and this is why I say the royal rota thinks that everybody is stupid with them, which is, and with someone like, I'm sorry to say, like for with some of the derangers in my chat, I can see why they think everybody is stupid. Because you guys allow these people to literally get away with all sorts of nonsense. How is it possible that the King, who is actually, I will give it to him, I sort of believe he has cancer. I can see it. I can believe it because he doesn't look well. Now, I want you to riddle me this. Let's put those two, just put 2 brain cells together. This is for both the squaddies and the derangers. Riddle me this. This man is 30 plus or more years older than Kate. Kate, from what you've seen, from what I've seen anyway, used to be very fit. She had muscles. She was, although she doesn't look very fit now, she just looks very unhealthy. She looks emaciated, guys. I don't understand. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. You expect me to believe the king, who is actually, based on what they said, continuing to take chemotherapy. He went in the hot sun, dressed in that hot outfit. 5 consecutive days, if you believe what he said. And Kate couldn't show up for one. And Kate, who had according to Rebecca, for those of you who were on my channel and you heard me reacting to Rebecca's outrageously deranged article about Kate's disappearance from Ascot, Kate only took chemotherapy for a few, she said it, guys, verbatim, several weeks. Several weeks, not several months. Several weeks. That means that if she started chemotherapy in March, she was probably done by the end of April, max May, because she was able to show up to Trooping of the Colour, and she looks fine. She had chemo for several weeks, over a year ago, and she is still beating that chemotherapy box. And she declared soft porn. She declared via soft porn September last year that she was in recovery, and tried to clash with Meghan's with Love Meghan's Day in January to tell us that she is delivered. She no more has cancer. And you expect me to believe June the next year, after Kate has been on no less than 5 holidays, 2 of which were skiing, the reason she could not attend Ascot is because she has cancer, that she told us that she was in remission from in January. So I'm confused. Either Kate has cancer or she does not. And if she has cancer, can someone explain to me why she told everybody in January that she was delivered, only to come and tell us again in June to Ascot, of all things, where they literally just show up, drink champagne and bet? She could not attend it. But the king, who is actively still taking chemotherapy, 30 years her senior, has, according to what they've told us, terminal prostate cancer, can attend. And you derangers are coming into my chat and telling me that you believe this nonsense. I know this is not about Kate, but this is a royal roundup. Bear with me. I just want some of us that are here to please apply common sense, because I know that derangers are not stupid people. You survive in the world. But I want you to use the 2 brain cells that you have to open your door and close it, to think on this matter. Kate, if you still believe Kate has cancer, I can't help you. They are literally telling us to our face that this woman is playing in our faces. Well, sorry, she's playing in your faces, because I'm not buying the bullshit. But if you still believe her, that one is your business. I am just here to refute the lies about Harry and Meghan and to celebrate their wins. If you're stupid enough to believe this nonsense, that's up to you. Now, I am done with this idiots for the week. As I said, before I close off, Maureen, big head and slapped ass. 99.9%, as you've just seen, of everything they have just said is an utter and complete lie. And now the video that I wanted us to go through has uploaded, so I'm going to play that very quickly. Shout out to everybody, guys. If you like my content, please continue to join. Please join as a subscriber. Please continue to share so that we can grow our community. And if you can support the channel, please, with a super chat, no amount is too small. I will appreciate it. Now, let me show you the video. I'm quite excited about this, actually. I love dragging people in the rota because they think we're stupid. Well, they get through to some people. I'm sorry to say this lady is one of them. But most of us are not stupid like that. Okay, let me get my playlist. I have something here that I call Kids Can't Read. I love that for me. Okay. Yes. Let me see if it's going to play. Yeah. So, guys, I know we've just been finished talking about kids. Oh yes, of course, alphas. That's what we do here. We drag the haters, the derangers. I'm trying to be nice to you because you're in my chat, and I don't want to believe you really are as stupid as you're presenting yourself. If you truly believe anything that the British media is telling you about anybody in the royal family, after they've been proven to be liars time and time again, let me raise you this. If you believe the derangers, Harry and Meghan have no friends in Hollywood. Harry and Meghan have been dropped by Netflix. Harry and Meghan have a last chance. So can you explain to me why Meghan was able to secure a business partnership with Meghan with as ever, and how come she has a season 2 on her show? If that isn't enough to tell you that the people that you're listening to and you're believing have no idea what is going on with anybody in the royal family, then I don't know what to tell you. Now, for those of you that are tired of Kate and William, bear with me. Don't forget, we are doing royal roundup, guys. It includes dragging the royal family, and I won't lie, for the first time in a very long time, the content that has come out of the Windsors this week has been very juicy, because these people are criminals, guys. Prince William allegedly is a criminal and is collecting bribe. Why do I say this? Let's read the article together, shall we? So I'm going to read you this article. Let's read it together, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? So let me press pause. Okay. Prince Royal donor offered access to Prince William at Polo Cup. The prince for £20,000. Now, this pay for access thing is not new. I've heard about this before, but because I didn't care about the royal family at that time, I didn't care. This is not something that is unusual. This is something that has been going on long before even his father Tebs. The royal family has been doing this ish since the beginning of time. You can literally pay to get access to the royal family. Now let's read the comments, shall we? An investigative journalist called Gabriel Pogron did his job and brought us this tea. Let's read. The Prince of Wales has been forced to cut ties with a donor to one of his quote-unquote money laundering, tax evading company vehicles, his quote-unquote charities, after she attempted to sell access to him for £20,000. Minerva Mondeja, I can't pronounce that, Steiner, is a Filipina-Swiss millionaire whose art gallery was an official sponsor of William's annual charity polo event, had offered a private meeting with the prince in exchange for cash. She also offered VVIP tickets and access to royalty for advertisers prepared to pay £50,000 to feature in a magazine handed out at the fundraiser. Let's continue. You see this team? Okay. Documents show she had prepared her own magazine, 1,000 copies of which she told potential advertisers would have been presented to ultra-high net worth art patrons, collectors, and institutional buyers, and placed on tables branded with her gallery's logo. Among her a la carte advertising options was £50,000 for £50,000, guys, for a double-page spread and access to royalty, £35,000 for the back cover and £30,000 for the inside front cover. Mondeja Steiner declined to comment. Of course she did. Sources close to her said she was prohibited from doing so as she had signed a confidentiality agreement barring her from speaking about the event until after it had taken place. I want you to take note of that comment. The sources added that her principal goal was to raise money for the technical college founded by her father in the city of Tacloban in the Philippines. Brunhild Lejosek of A Small World said, "To clarify, our company is not selling access. or facilitating any private meetings with the members of the royal family. Oh, no, no, no. That is reserved for Saudi princes, guys. She added that it was approached directly by the Money Her Foundation and asked to share details of their invitation to the patron of the charity. Believing this to be a relevant opportunity to support a philanthropic cause, a representative of the team proactively forwarded this to a small group of members who they believed will be interested in supporting this charitable cause. Clearly, these people think we are stupid. Can you believe this nonsense that's here? Let's speed this up a bit. Okay, no, that's gone too far ahead. Okay, wait. Sorry guys, bear with me. I had to film this a bit. Okay. You see that? You see that? The Royal Charity Polo, this is the lady, by the way, that you can see in the picture. The Royal Charity Polo Cup match, taking place in Windsor next month, is an invitation-only event where millionaire donors can watch the prince play polo. They are expected to give to causes close to his heart, often writing checks for hundreds of thousands of pounds. I want you guys to listen to these people commit crimes, guys. Listen to these people commit crimes. Nobody ever takes note. Okay, let me play devil's advocate. Let me say, okay, there's a royal quote-unquote charity polo match. Why do we not get to see the monies that are given to what charity? Why did William refuse to release his tax returns, guys? After all, if he's making all this money for his charities, I would imagine that he will be very enthused to share this with the world. So why did he refuse to release his taxes, guys? Anyway, let's continue. Monica Steiner, who was on the guest list, extended a strictly private confidential invitation to wealthy individuals belonging to a luxury concierge service. They were told that in exchange for donations to her own philanthropic foundation, they could attend the event, even join her in meeting the future king herself. The email read, "As a patron of the Moneha Foundation, you are invited to support their philanthropic work through charitable donation, in return for which you will be welcomed to this prestigious occasion." It continued. Patreons contributed 6,000. Let me see if I can lift this up a bit. Yeah. Let's stop there. It continued. Patreons contributions 6,000. Admission for one Patreon. 20,000 includes full access plus private audience. Guys, listen to this. Plus private audience with William and Catherine. This is something that William is pretending that he didn't know about. But here she is selling access. Are you seeing this shit? Let us read the email together, guys. This is the email right here. Dear, this is from Brunhild Lake Josek. Subject, private Patreon invitation. Royal Charity Polo with the royal family. Dear ASW member, we are pleased to extend you a strictly private and confidential invitation to one of the season's most exceptional events, the Royal Charity Polo event, Friday the 11th July 2025, Windsor, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Hosted in the presence of the members of the British royal family and supported by the Moneha Foundation. This highly exclusive gathering unites leading figures from philanthropy, fashion, the arts, culture for a truly unforgettable day. As a patron of the Moneha Foundation, you are invited to support this philanthropic work through charitable donation, in return for which you will be welcome to this prestigious occasion. The experience, listen to this guys, includes a refined luncheon and free-flowing champagne, VIP polos in an intimate setting, a curated art exhibition by Money Hag Gallery, an invitation-only guest list of ultra-high net worth individual, cultural icons and luxury leaders. Patreons, 6,000 admission for one Patreon. 20,000 includes, note this guys, includes full access plus private audience with Prince William and Princess Catherine in bold. This invitation is strictly limited and attendance is by invitation only. Kindly note that the attached invitation is for your eyes only. You see that, guys? And not to be shared publicly or on social media. If you would like to explore this opportunity further, I would be delighted to connect with you personally. Do you see what these criminals are up to? See that? See that? See that? Now, this email added that guests will also receive, okay, we've already gone through all that. This email was sent to members of A Small World, a Swiss company once described as MySpace for millionaires by the Wall Street Journal. In another document, Monica Steiner's team offered the opportunity to meet William to potential advertisers in a magazine to be handed to all at the tournament. For £50,000, she said she would grant companies a double-page editorial spread and 2 VVIP tickets, securing them seats at the tournament and access to the Royals. The disclosures threaten to cast a shadow over the competition, which has granted William an opportunity to play the sport he has enjoyed since childhood amongst friends, fellow Royals, and long-standing supporters. The Guards Polo Club, whose presidents have included the late Prince Philip and whose patron was Elizabeth II, is based in Windsor Great Park, which historically served as a hunting ground for royals at the castle. The polo event has been operated on the basis of strict confidentiality, and the palace tends to publicly announce William's involvement and publish photos after this has taken place. This was the case for last year's event, where William was present, but Kate, who was having quote-unquote cancer, did not attend. The event raised $1 million for charity. So let me go back to what I was saying, guys. If this article is to be believed, they are selling access of the polo event to millionaires, and they are raising hundreds of thousands of pounds. But the polo event only raised £1 million. So where did the money go to? Where has rest of the money gone to, guys? The Rangers in my chat. Instead of fighting about Harry and Meghan, how about talking about the fact that the people you support are criminals? Over the past 13 years, the heir to the throne has raised more than 10 million for causes including the Royal African Society, Mountain Rescue England and Wales, and the Motor Neuron Disease Association. The explicit nature of the emails has echoes of the cash for access scandals involving the king when he too was also the Prince of Wales. Charles has insisted he has no knowledge of any fundraising deals, but was repeatedly found to have met donors who gave money on the explicit condition of meeting him personally or attending black tie dinners at one of his residences. Case in point, Charles accepted €1 million cash in suitcase from Chic, like a gangster. The emails also pose questions of William's operation, including their due diligence before Monica Steiner was granted the status of an official sponsor or permitted to host an art exhibition to distribute her own magazine at the event. A palace source said William does not condone the behavior outlined in the email and thanked the Sunday Times for bringing the matter to his attention. In the circumstances, they said they had asked the club to terminate its relationship with the sponsor, Loan. The palace said it had no idea Monica Steiner was using the occasion to raise money for her own causes or promising access to William. In an unusually forthright intervention, the source says William does not condone that type of behavior in question and said there would be no cash for access. They added that they were familiar with Monica Steiner's gallery and not her foundation, and did not know she was using the event to raise money on her own rather than William's projects, or that she had shared an invitation with a luxury lifestyle company. It is understood William will still be attending the event and a quote-unquote behind-the-scenes reception to thank those involved. They asked him what due diligence was done on sponsors on the club. The palace source said that a secretariat at Buckingham Palace, sure you can see how they are moving the blame, performed the checks. It declined to say how much Monica Steiner had been paid to become a sponsor or put her own art exhibition at the event, saying the price charged varied. In the company's filing, Monica Steiner, 45 years old, listed her nationality as Filipina and her country of residence as Switzerland. A self-styled collector and curator, she studied fashion in London in the early noughties, then enrolled in Oxford University Further Education Institute to study art history between 2006 and 2008, before founding her own eponymous Monica Gallery. Married to Michael Steiner, a Zurich-based film director, she is involved in cultural and philanthropic work. Last September, she posed for photographs with the Duke of Sussex, because you know they have to drag Harry into this nonsense one way or another, at the annual awards for Well Child, the charity for seriously ill children in London. Weeks beforehand, she had met with Benedict Cumberbatch at the screening of a film about the environment he was hosting, also posing for pictures. The source says the source and scale of her wealth is unclear. Despite claiming to have an operation in the US, two entities of which she is linked in California have been struck off for failing to file accounts. She founded a property company in London in January before incorporating her foundation as a community interest company, a kind of non-profit, in April. Neither has a public presence or published detailed information. It appears she had intended to use the polo event as the centerpiece of a fundraising drive for her commercial gallery and philanthropic work. Documents showed she had produced her own magazine, 1,000 copies of which, let me just quickly, don't worry guys, I'll soon finish. Documents showed she had produced her own magazine, 1,000 copies of which she told potential advertisers would have been presented to ultra-high net worth patrons, collectors, and institutional buyers, placed on tables branded with her gallery logo. Among her a la carte advertising options, we've already discussed the pricing. She has declined to comment. Sources close to her said she was prohibited from doing so, as she had signed a confidentiality agreement barring her from speaking about the event until it had taken place. Sources added that the primary goal was to raise money for the technical college, right? They are repeating themselves, so I'm not going to repeat myself. So guys, in summary, Prince William was caught out, well, one of his donors was caught out trying to commit fraud, donations fraud. cash for access. The only reason why he bothered to comment on it, and the only reason why he is denying it so adamantly, is because he was caught. The British royal family are criminals, guys. Take that with you will. The Ranger in my chat that people are listening to, I hope all is well. I haven't been following the comments. So guys, now that we finished with William and his ridiculous wife, let's talk about karma. I'm going to play something for you.
Who was sacked for calling someone I believe to be racist a racist. I started at GB News because it was edgy, it was all about free speech, it was about doing things differently. But the more and more I started working there, I felt like I was confronted with just the most awful opinions, you know, things that were undeniably racist, homophobic, just downright bigoted. And then when I called Suella Braverman racist and a thoroughly bigoted woman, I was dropped. I believe she is actually racist and a thoroughly bigoted woman. There are former colleagues of mine who are white, like Carol Malone, who have said similar things, like calling Diane Abbott a bigot.
She is a bigot. She is what a bigot looks like.
And they still remain at the channel with no sort of reprimand whatsoever. I'm taking the fight to GB News through an employment tribunal. They need to be held to account for the way that they treat their employees. They need to be held to account for the way that they treat their black on-air members of staff differently to their white on-air members of staff. And they need to be held to account for the way that they report the news.
Okay, so let me talk about Albi very quickly. For those of us that are on X, you will know that Albi used to be a... Oh, sorry about that, Aline, bear with me. Albi used to be a... he used to be a presenter on GB News, right? Exactly. He used to be a presenter on GB News. Let me play you some of the things that he said about Meghan. So, you know, I titled this particular segment of our wonderful presentation, Karma. Because it's very interesting that this clown came online to be screaming about racism. They committed a racism against me, guys. They committed a racism against Albi, guys. Let's listen to some of the things that Albi has said about Meghan, shall we?
I'm not as much of a, I'm not. I'm not as much of a hater as you are, Dan. Look, I find this entire situation, to be honest, really quite sad, because I remember how, lots has happened since they got married. But my view is that I really regret everything that's happened with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. I remember I was so happy when they got married that Harry had finally found his princess. The whole country was happy. Many people across the world were happy. You know, a lot of people in my family were excited. We're a multiracial family. The royal family were going to be a multiracial family. It was very exciting for everyone. It was beautiful. And to see the way that things have happened and the bad behaviour on all sides that has happened is just really sad. And I think the Duke and Duchess of Sussex aren't really contributing to anything meaningful. I think the royal family have lost an asset. I think the country has lost an asset. No one looks good at the end of this situation.
I want to be clear that he made this comment after the Harry and Meghan interview talking about racism. This is the only... Oh, sorry. This is the only thing a biracial black man could say about the first biracial princess, calling out the racism of the royal family. Now, let me also give you another taste of... Because many of you will be like, oh, but it's not that bad. Let's see what else Albi said, shall we? Yeah. This is when I
Those
despised.
gorgeous 2 children.
This is when I despised Albi, by the way.
This week I watched
Okay.
Prince Harry interview on Good Morning America, and I really wanted to hate it, but I've got to be honest, I just didn't hate it. It just made me think of the old Harry that we all used to know and love, and that's why I think, Harry, just come home, leave Meghan in Montecito, bring over those gorgeous 2 children, Archie and Annabeth, to get to know their grandparents and get to know their cousins and aunties and uncles at this time of your family going through this real hardship with your father having cancer, and just come home. Who knows? Maybe you could be let back into the royal fold. We did hear some reports in the Times earlier on this week that you wanted to be doing some more royal duties. But in order to do that, you need to first come home. So leave Meghan in Montecito, come back home and start those conversations.
You sound like you're making an appeal for your lost cat to return somehow.
It feels a bit like my lost cat, actually. I did actually lose a cat when I was younger, and I was very, very upset about it.
Can I just say something about Harry's gobbing off to Good Morning America? Everyone this morning has said, oh, actually, I apologise to Harry because I was expecting you to spill the beans and be, really scandalous about and gossipy about your father's health. But actually, he said, he was quite muted in his response. But the truth is, he would have known they were going to ask that question. If he really cared about his dad's privacy, he would have said before to the production crew, guys, just don't ask me this question about my dad's health. I don't want to share it.
But then, if an interviewee said that to you, wouldn't you still ask the question?
No.
You would.
I'm a well-respected...
I think the point is, though, Albi, that his response was, oh, I won't talk about my father's health, I won't go that far. As if we're all going to turn around and be like, how honourable, what a brilliant man you are, how fantastic. Of course you shouldn't sell out your father for his health.
Sorry, Darren, what exactly are you angry at Harry about this week?
I'm angry about the fact that actually he is basically trying to make out he's a good and honourable man for not doing book number 2, telling us all about what cancer his father's got.
I think you just come out with that in your head. All we did this week was answer the question in the correct way. Ben Butterworth, you're a Harry and Meghan fan-ish. What did you think about it?
Well, you can't decide what country to live in, so the next one won't be spare, it'll be where, because... Look, you know what actually made me slightly uncomfortable in his comments on Good Morning America was that they asked him, do you feel American, and he stopped short of saying that. But he did say that he's considered taking US citizenship. Now, I think that would be a very provocative and insulting thing for someone to do that still carries the title of Prince Harry, which is bestowed on him from this country. Bear in mind that Meghan, despite becoming a duchess here, has never been a British citizen. She didn't get as far as applying for British citizenship. And so for me, that made me quite sad. And I think that actually told you more about whether he really wants to return to this country.
I don't think Meghan's ever been to Sussex. I'm from Sussex, and let me say as a native, it's a disgrace that she pounds around with that title, Duchess Meghan of Sussex.
She definitely would have been to Sussex when she was, for all of 2 minutes, cutting cakes and ribbons.
I don't think she's been.
I actually think, Benjamin, that you raise a valid point. And actually, they continue to use Harry's royal crest on that website that they've just put up. So he feels American, perhaps, and perhaps he'll become an American citizen, but he's still going to rip off from the monarchy and use his royal crest to get trinkets and all the rest of it in America.
And I think he's changing his surname as well, isn't he? Putting more and more
Sussex.
So for me, Harry and Meghan, I just wish for them the life that I think they need, which is out of the private eye, a nice quiet life away from all of this exposure, but they just keep popping up all the time, demanding the limelight. But I do wish them well.
So miserable.
No, I'm not. Will you let me finish? I think Harry was right to come over to visit his father. If he mends the rift with his father, then wonderful, but I cannot get over the fact that Harry and Meghan let the world accuse our monarchy of being racist without defending them. They went on for months and months before they said, oh, actually, no, we weren't saying the royal family were racist. Do you not understand the cruelty and damage of their actions? Needs an apology, Albi, needs an apology before a rift can heal, and if there is an apology, there's no reason why They can't heal, but
can this not be the beginning of this healing process that the family so desperately needs? Look, we don't know what's gone on both sides. Look, I think that there might need to be an apology. There might need to be an apology in both directions, actually. That is something which we should all be considering too. And I think it would be wonderful if the family can come back together now that King Charles is unwell and be united and be supportive of each other.
You can't just drop off for 4 years and reveal every nook and cranny of their private life and then at the click of a finger say, I'm ready now.
Right, that's enough of that nonsense. So, what was I trying to show you there? Albi. I was trying to show you Albi, who is now crying and coming to everybody to say, I was racially discriminated. Albi, you asked a married man to leave his wife, the mother of his children, in Montecito, and take his children to a country he feels that they are unsafe in, because you were more interested in joining this group of racist idiots in having a both sides conversation. And this is what I don't like about people like Albi. Albi might appear to be, what is he saying that is so bad? He's trying to defend them. Why would you allow yourself to be the black face of white supremacy? Albi? Why would you allow yourself, a gay, biracial black man of Ghanaian descent? And this is my question. My Ghanaian brothers and sisters, can you please explain to... I need someone to... Who is from Ghana here? I need you to tell me the problem. I need to know what is it. Between Esther Crackhead, Afua Hagan, what is going on with you people? Ghana, Biko, what is the problem now? He has a Ghanaian father, white mother. What is it, Ghana? I need to know. Is there something in the water that is making you people? I don't know. What? Ghanaians, help me in the chat. What is the problem now? Now he has gotten a taste of the... Can you imagine having a conversation with Darren Grimes? Darren Grimes of all people. Darren Grimes is a gay man, by the way. A white supremacist who has managed to use racist talking points to finagle his way into a councillor role up north. He's under some sort of delusion that he's ever going to enter parliament, which is funny. By the time your constituents pay attention to you, Darren, and see you for the gay man that you are. Anyway, you know what? Share reform has time, but that's neither here nor here or there. I'm bringing this up because I wanted you to see Albi in the wild. After Albi posted this video, he still went on Twitter to go and ask Harry to come back to the UK, bring your children back. They dragged him on Twitter, insulted him from now to, including me. It was me. I was also there. Insulted him from now till tomorrow. And let me play you something. Did you notice that in that interview that he came out with,
Bigotry is never acceptable.
So the in that interview that he came out with, where he was dragging when he was asking Harry to leave Meghan in Montecito and come to the UK, that interview came out. That interview came out in February, February last year. He got dragged on Twitter, and then came out. Let me play something for you. This particular discussion with the five took place after he was roundly destroyed on Twitter.
Time to go 1-to-1, and then the other three.
Having a point of view, being the temerity to come on television, being told to leave the country, but not really British, being called the F word because I'm gay. People online, it's become an absolute sewer. And I think the trolls that go after people like Meghan Markle, the trolls that go after people like you, Darren, online, the trolls that go after female MPs on both sides of the house, have lost their humanity. They've completely forgotten that there are actually real people on the other side of the screen, and real people have real feelings. And I think it's absolutely right to say that those trolls online that cause so much nuisance have lost their humanity. They wouldn't do it in real life.
Well, look, what I would say to that is I think actually it's enabled cowardice in the sense of someone sat behind a keyboard in their mother's basement thinks that actually they feel emboldened to be able to send someone a string of abuse. But that's not changed, right? Throughout humanity, we have been awful to each other. It's part of life. Some people in life are awful. That's just the way things go. But I'll tell you who else is awful. Meghan Markle. During the last few days of the Queen's life, the last few years of the Queen's life, and of course the late Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip, actually she made their lives hell. So she cannot lecture us about a lack of humanity.
What's that got to do? What's that got to do with
in the final years of their lives through
when she was
hell?
pregnant and a new mum?
You've got to take
it's irrelevant.
No, it's not.
So you're saying because she did things wrong in your opinion, she deserves the abuse she got when she was pregnant and a new mother.
I'm saying that she is not someone that I want to listen to on having a lack of humanity when she in the twilight.
Okay, that's enough of that nonsense. Like I said, Darren Grimes was fired from GB News. For those of you who may not have known, I think Darren Grimes got his own wake-up call. Now he's an MP. So anyway, the point I was trying to make with this is Albi came out to complain. Albi asked Harry to leave his wife in Montecito and bring the kids home in February 2024. Got roundly dragged on social media. Me, I dragged him as well. Then the very next month, he's back defending Meghan. Meghan gets trolled online. Albi, did you not tell Harry to leave his wife in Montecito and bring the kids home? So you see, and then that other video where you see him saying that, oh, it's both sides. Now you want us to leave what we are doing to come and help you with racism claims. I don't know if he's going to win. I don't care. I don't wish him anything. I'm just going to say go away. People like you that talk out of both sides of your mouth are an effing... Oh, yes. But both of them got fired. Grimes got fired because his own delusions got ridiculous. I can't remember what racist thing he said online. He said something particularly racist, even by his own standards. Next thing we know, he's been fired. Although he was saying that, oh, he's moving on. Nope, they fired your ass. And now believe it or not, he's a councillor up north in England. And he's under some delusion that he's going to go into parliament. He's part of the Reform Party. And I told him very soon your constituents will look at you and realize that you're a gay man and your wake-up call will come. So, and it will be hilarious. All these online trolls that have somehow found a way to get political power. That's what Grimes has turned into. It's interesting that Albi has decided to go the racism route. But I'm very curious to see how... Okay, I'm not curious. I'm sure I'll find out eventually what's going to happen. But I just wanted to say that with Albi, this is your karma. I don't feel sorry for you. And for the black people or brown people who keep, for some reason, thinking that because they are going to allow themselves to be brown or black faces for racism, your racism wake-up call is not going to come. Oh. Like I said, I posted Albi so that I could laugh at him. Very soon, the rest of them will know when. And I will also laugh at them. So yeah, let's go back to what we were watching. We've spoken about Albi. Not time for a timeline cleanse. And I want to thank you guys for being patient. I wanted to get the nonsense out of the way so we can get to the good stuff, which is, of course, Duchess Meghan and Harry. Harry has done quite well this week, guys. He gave a beautiful talk. I thought it was very spontaneous and from the heart. And I thought, let's listen to Harry. Okay. Let me turn it back. Harry. Always the gentleman.
Hi, everyone. Hi, iPhones.
Okay, but I think both of us, well, I know that both of us came to the conclusion that we could either create a foundation and just focus on the things that we feel really passionate about, or we could try to look at all of the symptoms of what the world is dealing with, and can we trace those back to a root cause as an ultimate problem that needs to be solved, but perhaps is on the face of it unsolvable because of the power behind it. That's how we ended up with the online world in the digital space. It wasn't something that was sexy, it wasn't something that we were necessarily passionate about, but it became very, very clear to us very quickly, speaking to a lot of experts, that for all the work that we collectively are doing, and all the progress that we're achieving, that if the digital world is not done responsibly, that it's going to turn back that progress. And we see it now, especially with climate change. So that became a focus, and then we started to meet a lot of parents who had lost their kids to social media, majority through suicide. And that's when it started to really make sense for us. And going back to your initial question, one of the pieces to why the digital world was so important to us is because my wife in 2018 was the most trolled person in the world. So there was a lived experience in that, but at no point did we suddenly think, okay, well, let's go and let's take this industry on. But now we've created a fantastic platform through the Parents Network for parents all over the US and Canada and the UK as well, to be able to share their stories and share their lived experiences in the hope that less parents are affected by social media.
Thank you so much for sharing your vision.
We realised that quite some time ago, and I think in today's world it's quite easy to be able to abandon your values, because some people are proving that it's easier to get to the top by lying. I'm sure that the fall from that is quite monumental. But my wife said to me very early on in our relationship, if you live your life by truth, it's the most efficient way to live. And I'm sharing this with you. So yes, we will continue to live our life by truth, and we will continue to stand up for what we believe in, the difference between right and wrong. And almost especially when it comes to mental health, I find it fascinating that when you are in a position similar to mine, if you do speak up, that the people in those positions of power, in the media, whatever, that criticize you, thinking that they're going to silence you, clearly don't realize the importance of the fact that if they do try and criticize you and silence you, there is a need and desire to continue to speak more. Also, everybody in this room, we know that if you come out and speak about some of your lived experiences, that someone out there, or a group of people, or thousands or millions of people, can somehow relate to part of your story, and you may be able to change their life.
Okay, shout out to Baron Smith, because I got it from her. So it's quite interesting. So for those of you who don't know, Harry attended the Nexus Global Summit. He was a surprise. He was a surprise speaker, and I liked it. I thought it was a nice talk, especially since you can hear his confidence. You can hear his confidence now that he's giving public speeches, and it's nice and it's lovely, and honestly it's quite inspiring, frankly, and I'm very pleased for him. So I found an article that gives us a bit more information about the Nexus global event and the thoughts around it. So I'm going to quickly read it out for us now. Prince Harry, let me share the screen. Let me go back a bit. So as I said, he did make a surprise appearance at Nexus Global, and let's look at the article, guys. So Prince Harry is back in NYC on Friday the 27th. Stop moving. Yeah, on Friday the 27th of June, the Duke of Sussex 40 stepped out in NYC as an unannounced featured speaker at the 2025 Nexus Global Summit, where he addressed a group of next-generation philanthropists and impact investors. The people have learned. Harry hit the stage for a fireside chat titled Building Tomorrow, a conversation of service, impact, and collective action with Prince Harry. In conversation, Rachel Gerrall, co-founder and CEO of Nexus. Reflecting on his personal evolution, Prince Harry 40 spoke about being born into a life of service, but moving from having to serve to wanting to serve. During his remarks, he emphasized the mission of the Archwell Foundation, which he founded with his wife Meghan, as being rooted in compassionate leadership and commitment to something greater than ourselves. He encouraged the group to take care of each other and our children in the future and tackle systems instead of the symptoms keeping us down. He also urged the group to consider what they want their own legacies to be, align their investments with that vision, and use platforms to foster meaningful collaboration and change. Harry and Meghan launched the Archwell Foundation in 2020 after stepping back from their royal roles with the mission Show Up, Do Good. The 2025. Let me go back a bit. Okay, start. The 2025 Nexus Global Summit takes place on New York from June 26 to June 28, bringing together 350 of the world's leading next-gen philanthropists, impact investors, and social innovators. According to a statement, the event aims to unite these change makers to bring about solutions to the most pressing problems of a generation. Of course, a lovely picture of Harry and Meghan here. This year's summit centers on the theme Brave Voices and Bold Ideas, with discussions spanning mental health, AI, and technology for some, for good, climate change, impact investing, and more. Several of the key topics, mental health, digital responsibility, and conservation, aligns with Prince Harry's long-standing philanthropic priorities. Other notable speakers at the event: Christy Turlington, Emma Bloomberg. Harry's latest trip took him across the country from his California home, where he lives with Meghan and their children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet. Now you will notice I'm not going to read any more of that because I think the conversation, like they always do, Harry is out doing philanthropic work. I'm not particularly sure why they're focusing on Harry and Meghan. We know who he's married to. Focus on his work. Anyway, now we approach the last part of this. We're going to react very quickly to the idiots in the sun. Guys, what the things I do for you people. The journeys I take for the idiots in the media. I swear to God, these people are useless. Let's look at the sun, shall we? Let's see what Meghan has done this time. There was something, oh yes, sorry, it wasn't actually Meghan. That's why I said this week is more Prince Harry. Now, for those of you who are wondering, I want to drag Americans slightly. Americans in the chat. Why does shipping take so long? So, Meghan, I bought as ever goods through a company. Do you know that the goods just, even though they shipped one of the packages, I think almost immediately, the goods just got to the place I'm shipping from on Friday, and the next goods got there on Saturday. Can someone explain to me how that's possible? Did they walk from Nashville to Florida? It makes no sense why it took that long, and I was genuinely very annoyed by it because I was hoping that this weekend we could have done some sort of, okay, it probably wouldn't have come here by now, but like it would have been nice to do it with Love Meghan, catch up. But
like that.
What I plan, I'm hoping to have the goods next week, guys. I asked for expedited shipping. Don't even get me started on the cost of shipping, because Jesus. But yeah, I'm hoping once I get my with Love Meghan goodies, I am going to do a live reaction for all of us here for the honey and the jam. And oh my God, Aline, really? But it's ridiculous though. What is going on with your transportation service? USPS tracking. That is a disgrace, by the way. So yeah, I'm gonna play something for you now. I know this week is very Harry William heavy, but that's but that's yeah. I'll get the honey soon, Elf. So the honey arrived on Friday, the jam arrived on Saturday. So I put the shipment together, and it is my hope that I will get them at the same time, so that we can have a live reaction. So yeah, let's quickly listen to the Sun. Don't worry, bear with me, guys. We're going to listen to the Sun very quickly, talk nonsense about William and Harry. This weekend is very William and Harry heavy, which is different for me because I usually focus on Meghan because, well, Meghan is who I'm a fan of. But let's listen to this nonsense, and I'll drag everybody as expected. Bear with me. Yes, I know it's Matt Wilkinson's stupid face, but well.
Serious things to deal with than his brother.
Oh, yes.
That's what it appears. You know, and do you think he's in a better place now than he was last year?
Definitely. Last year, I always think of the quotes he gave when he was in Cape Town, talking about what a brutal year it had been. I think that was it October, November, and so this time last year they were really in the thick of it, and we only found out afterwards just how bad just how difficult and challenging it had been for the family behind the scenes. So 12 months on, thankfully, Catherine seems to be doing a lot better, and she's in remission now, and they're both back at work. All of that probably has really helped his, as we said earlier, his headspace to say, well, I'm also going to draw the line in the sand on Harry. I'm looking forward. It's been a really difficult time, and I don't have the energy to focus on things like that, really.
There are too many things happening without being disrupted by his brother going off piste. There are far more important things. His brother's decided on his way of life, and until such time he decides to change and apologise to the family, William has cut his own path. His own path is his family and the country.
But she won't stop talking about him, though.
He was possibly quietly seething for a long time, and that headspace, as they describe, he's clear now. He's not kind of, personally grieving or seething about what's happened to his brother. He's just parked that and he's moved on to the important.
It was this massive hurdle last year with his wife having the abdominal operation and then being diagnosed with a cancer. And that's difficult for any family. You don't have to be royal to have to be confronted with difficulties like that. And he's come through it. Catherine's come through it. She's happier. The children are happier. He's happier. Now he can get on with the job, and the job of monarchy.
Well, Dickie, that's the time when you need your brother when your wife has cancer. That's the time when you need him standing next to you, helping out and chatting to you and supporting you.
He had his aunt, he had his uncle, he had his father, and he had his stepmother. What more can you ask for when your brother's gone off piste?
We mentioned the Princess of Wales there, and that that William is going to be happy that the Princess of Wales is recovering. But we did have a little bit of a scare last week. Bronte, should we pull back the curtain and reveal what actually happens with Royal Exclusive? Yes. We went to Ascot together.
It was supposed to just be a very calm sort of work day. It was, at Royal Ascot with the other.
We got off the train, didn't we?
We got off the train. We were all dressed nicely. You were in your top hat. We were very excited to get inside and maybe have a champagne. Right at the gate, though, the news broke that Catherine would no longer be attending, and it really caused, for want of a better word, quite a kerfuffle. People were, you said it there, the word scare is right. Initially, with everything that's happened, and of course with the backdrop of the health issues last year, as soon as you have sort of that last minute news drop, it is going to spark a little bit of panic. So there was a lot of people sort of, especially where we were, of course, with all the royal reporters sort of checking in. Do we know what's happened? Bit of a worry.
It was a bit of a mess, Vicky, because
it's happened before.
We were told that we were briefed that to expect the Princess of Wales, and they do that occasionally. They say this is a good day to go. Look, for there's no type thing. This is going to be a big event. So we were really excited about it and looking forward to that day. And then at midday, Ascot put out the carriage list, which they do. They announced the carriage list, which has been agreed with the royal family. 20 minutes later was when we got the message saying actually the Princess of Wales.
Well, in my day, the carriage list didn't go out until everybody was actually in the carriage, which is a long way down the other end of the course. And it takes a while to get up, by which time you can put the list out because it's confirmed that people are in there without jumping the gun. It was done some time ago on another event where I think she was supposed to go to Irish Guards.
because, as you've mentioned, they get in the carriage. So at Windsor Castle, it's
well, I said it was a scare. Maybe I went over the top saying that, but it was a worry. But I think we would know if it was worse. We would be.
Okay, fine. Sorry, I thought they were going to say more about Harry. I hadn't watched it before. Bear with me. But what I thought was interesting is they wanted to talk about William and Kate. So I'm not particularly sure why they had to bring up Harry. The fuck? And yeah, while when you're going through something, it'd be nice to have your sibling around. William is a man in his 40s and he's married. Doesn't he have friends? Why does he need Harry to be holding his hand? The fuck? I personally think as usual, the heading confused me. Or it was clickbait. I thought they were going to talk about Harry. They brought up William. And because we honestly don't give an F. The only reason I talk about Kate and William is to drag them because they are both criminals. And yes, Matt Wilkinson is crazy. I do agree with you. There's something fundamentally wrong with that man. And there was one last thing, then I think we're done for the day. This last one, then I think we're done, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining.
Harry has invited.
So let me, before he talks, because I haven't watched this video. Harry is the patron of Invictus Games. When they have, because these games involve countries' military, the head of the military for the UK is the king. Yes? And Prince William is going to be the future head of the military, yes? And while I do agree, Harry has come out publicly to say he has extended an olive branch to his family. It's not really unusual or surprising that as the patron of the Invictus Games, which will involve the military, the king will be sent an invite to come. Of course he will be. He's the head of the military. So I don't understand why they are making it sound like Harry has written a personal love letter, you know, to Charles and William. He's going to probably invite them the same way he invited them to the Invictus Games. I'm sure he invited them to all the Invictus Games. He invited them to the Invictus 10-year anniversary on their own soil. The king intentionally scheduled a tea party so he would not have to attend. And the royal waiter was kicking and loving it until the Spencers showed up because he just made the royal family look very stupid. Penny, I need you to, you know, I told you that I want you to use your brain. I want you to use your brain, Penny. I just explained to you that as the Invictus Games involves military, and the king is the head of the UK military, Harry personally probably did not invite him, did not extend anything or send a press release. It is expected that if you're doing something on British soil, you will reach out to the government, the heads of state. Charles is the head of state. Now, I also have no doubt in my mind that Harry would have reached out to his father and his brother to attend, just because Harry is a good person. But if they choose not to attend, that is their business. But I don't know what you mean by press release. What press release? What are you talking about? What press release, Penny? Instead of just posting things, because I've seen you just posting things. Okay, do you know what, Penny? Do me a favor. Post a link to the press release. While we're watching the video, please post the link to the press release from Harry's camp asking for the... Post the link now. Post the link. I don't know what you're talking about. To People Magazine, post the link. Let's watch the video, guys, while Penny posts the link.
The King and Prince William to go to the Invictus Games. It's 2027, so we're 2 years away. That puts everyone in a little bit of a dilemma because if he invites them to the games in Birmingham, normally at these games the head of state or the defence secretary will go to Harry's games.
See, Penny?
What do you think the King and William will be thinking about?
Well, has he actually invited them, or has he just said he would like them to come? It is 2 years away, and there are those that say, well, William and the King can always come up with diary engagements, and there are those cynics who say, well, it is 2 years away, adjust your diary. There's got to be a lot to happen between now and then. You can't just brush everything under the carpet. The Oprah interview, the 6 hours of Netflix slagging off the royal family, the book Spare. You can't just sweep that under the carpet. There's got to be an apology. Yes, the king is sort of commander-in-chief of the armed services, and it would be a good fit and a good show for him to appear. But it's a very difficult one. He's been placed in a dilemma as to how to cope with this. I think we have to wait and see how this moves on, as to whether there is an apology. Life can change in 2 years. You know, a day in politics is a long time. 2 years in the royal family is even longer. So let's just see what happens on that front.
Can I ask you, one of the parts of the story, this was in the Mail on Sunday, I think, the other day, one of the parts of the story was that emphasis on getting in early with the invitation because the royal diary can fill up years in advance. How true is that in this scenario where let's say that the invitations have been sent out, is it possible that they would already be booked for, I think it's July 2027? The king, for example, would he be booked already, do you think?
Firstly, I doubt the invitations have already gone out. I think Harry has sort of indicated and sort of flagged up that he would like his dad and his brother there. He's got to clear a lot of bad air to get them there, because William really doesn't want to have anything to do with him. A parent is slightly different. You know, he loves his son, but he's very hurt by what his son has done. And there doesn't seem to be any move of reproach for him. He said, yeah, he wants to see his father. He made that silly comment a few weeks ago that he doesn't know how long his father has got. I mean, you don't say things like that in public. So he's got a lot of ground to make up. And the ground is with a capital A, apology. And you've got to mean it. But at the moment, his father won't see him, because his father sees him, that anything he says will be all over the airways, all over the internet in a nanosecond. And at the moment, he can't trust it.
But you were famously sorting out these kind of issues when you were working for Her Majesty.
We didn't have issues like that.
But you had to negotiate what would look good, what would look bad, how to kind of present things. This would cause a massive headache to you if you were
It would cause a massive headache, because you just don't roll over having been rubbished for such a long time over a wide platform. You know, Netflix has got millions of listeners. Harry Spare book sold millions. Oprah has 1 million viewers. To rubbish the royal family to that extent, and then expect everybody to roll over and say, oh, you know, kiss and make up, you know, all is forgiven. There's an equation to this, and the other half of the equation is Mrs. Wales, Mrs. Sussex.
I think this is such a difficult one. I've given this one a lot of thought since the story came out, and also since we found out that it was going to be in Birmingham. I think there is a lot of sympathy and understanding and respect for the King's position and William's, because I think anyone can relate to the fact that if you've been spoken about, particularly publicly, and had your personal issues with family members aired in that way, of course you would be angry, and of course you would be well within your rights to do exactly as they have done, which is basically shut it down and cut him off, because there's no trust. With that said, it's a tricky one, because this is beyond Harry. Of course it's his event, but it's in the UK, and you're talking about the military community, of which the royals are very, very, very entwined, and it is bigger than Harry, so you do run the risk. And I say this again with great respect for family issues, because I understand their position. You are speaking about something that is bigger, and they do run the risk of it looking, for want of a better word, a little bit petty if they don't go and support it, given their position in supporting the military community, and particularly an event like this, which is a very good event that is held. It is a wonderful thing that is put on and means so much to that community. So I think it is particularly complicated, but I think that that's something that is going to be discussed a lot in the palace.
You're absolutely right. There's going to be a lot of give and take on this one, and it would be a bad fit if there was no representation from the king, because he is Commander-in-Chief. And these servicemen, ex-servicemen, they signed up the Queen shilling, and today it's the King shilling to serve. So it would be a very difficult one. They're faced with a dilemma, and somebody's got to come out with a resolution. Somehow it's got to work that there is a presence of the king. I don't think there needs to be a presence of William, but certainly of the king as Commander-in-Chief, their Commander-in-Chief, because they're still military-minded, and it would be right for him to be there. How it's done remains to be seen. It is 2 years away. A lot can happen in 2 years.
And we thought that it had all died down because it did appear that Harry and Meghan, but particularly Harry in this instance, wasn't going to talk any more about the family. And then we obviously had that very unexpected and explosive BBC interview. So as you say, that's a crucial point. If there's any more of that over the next 2 years, 2 years is a long time. It is much harder for there to be any more push forward. But maybe if nothing else happens for 2 years and the water's calm.
That won't come on. That's not going to happen.
I don't know, maybe.
They're in a pickle, but there is possibly a way out. No members of the royal family went to the 10th anniversary of St Paul's Cathedral last year. Harry Kane, we were led to believe that kind of invites or offers, would a member of the royal family like to come. They didn't. They said they were busy. They didn't meet Harry when he was over. And it's also Camilla's birthday. I think right in the middle of when the Invictus Games is, so they do have that kind of excuse.
Yes, you can throw all sorts of things into the melting pot as to why it can't happen. But this is a very difficult and sensitive one because it's not just about the relationship of the king with his son, with his younger son. It's also his relationship with servicemen, injured servicemen, veterans, and dare I say, he has to be seen to be believed. So he's faced with a very difficult dilemma. But 2 years is a long time, not going to happen.
I know. We'll be talking about it again, I'm sure. We'll be talking about it again. Now, Dickie, should we be surprised that Meghan Markle has joined a whole long list of celebrities by bringing out a rosé wine?
I don't think we should be surprised at anything she does. And as far as bringing out a wine, it's going to sell something for something like 20 quid or $28 US. It's a lot of money, and if you're going to go into that sort of business, you've got to produce a lot of wine to make money. If her jam is anything to go by, it's going to be sold out in about 10 minutes. How many bottles is she producing? Who's producing it? She's not a wine expert. So, why go into something that you probably know nothing about?
That's a really interesting point. I mean, we'll get onto this a little bit later about how perhaps have they actually sold out and how many, wines and jams she's actually making. But I'm not surprised that she's gone into winemaking because if you are a celebrity like Meghan Markle is now, that's what everybody's doing. Well,
it's very appealing to celebrities to do it because if it's produced en masse, exactly as you mentioned, you can make a lot of money out of it. George Clooney sold his Casamigos tequila one, I think, for $1 billion.
Yeah, but she's not George Clooney.
Of course, and that's going to be the problem. People will note that. So, look, I can understand why she's gone in there. It certainly fits with everything else she's putting out there. But we've touched on the key element, which is until these things are produced in very, very large quantities, it's not going to make the kind of money that really makes it worthwhile.
Wow. Okay, so there is actually one sec. So very quickly on that point, because these people are idiots. And Dickie, for those of you who, and I'll probably play it next time, Dickie was one of the people who was pranked to give commentary on the Harry, Meghan, Oprah interview without actually hearing the interview. One of the most disgraceful moments of these people's careers, if they had anything resembling shame. But because they don't, and shame is not a word that they're familiar with, they decided to get on with it, which was pathetic, by the way. And yeah, so to the point, let me just quickly address some of the nonsense they've been saying. Let's start with the commentary around the wine. It's going to sell out. Let's not even. Come on now. It is going to sell out. It's going to sell out. So I'm not worried about that. As for once again, they are trying to discredit Meghan by saying, oh, what is the quantity of jam that she sold? To the people that are using the 3 brain cells in their head, you do realize, let me say it one last time. Meghan is running a business, not a charity organization. She has staff. She has Netflix as investors. If you are stupid enough to believe that because they are going to make Meghan sell 5 jars to prove a point, I don't know what to tell you. But one thing you should understand about the royal rota, their job is not to report news. Their job is not to report facts. Their job is to lie about the royal family and make them look good. If you observe, they're talking about Charles, right? And the Invictus Games. Why? because they're already. I posted this video a few days ago from that idiot Lorraine and Rupert Myers, where they were already saying, "Oh, Camilla's birthday is coming up in 2 years. Her birthday is every year." And nobody is inviting Camilla, they're inviting Charles. So why are we talking about Camilla? They're already looking for all the excuses they can use to defend Charles when he does the inevitable and not show up for the event. I have to give it to Dickie though, because Dickie is the only person who's speaking facts here. Speaking honest God facts, right? It will make the king look very bad. The fact that he did not speak on the Invictus made the Invictus Games that took place in Canada made him look very bad. The fact that he continues to not speak about the wins, disabled soldiers who have lost and sacrificed for the British, for Britain. The fact that he doesn't speak up continues to make him look bad. And there's nothing that they're going to say. And I think they are right, because they're like, hate Harry all you want. This is not about Harry, this is about the military. You were already made to look very stupid at the 10th anniversary that you missed. And you were made to look very stupid by not speaking up about the American winners of the Canadian Invictus Games. If you do this on British soil. Anyway, let's see how that goes. Let me see if I can quickly find their stupid commentary on the jam. Let me see.
Yeah. Well, if you're talking about the York girls, well, yeah.
I think there's a short list of 5, and we looked at some of the wonderful, conceptions that have come up. There is Lost Tower and
Yeah,
everything
those are
like
some concepts, weren't they?
One sec, guys. I'm looking for something, then we'll end the live.
Still maintaining tradition. Keep the crown there. It doesn't have to go on the hip. It's tradition.
And
last year.
a lot of space in his head. It was a very close.
Let me see if I can find it. If I can't find it, though, definitely post the video and I'll comment about it.
As head of nation going out and like the sort of casts that are made on coins and banknotes that
and in that moment, you're having that moment of reflection. You're not just sort of stepping.
The junior royals to become a patriot president.
Okay, I don't care. Let me quickly. There was something that Matt Wilkinson lied about, because he's a liar, about Meghan, the supplier of Meghan's tea being the Republic of Tea. Let me show you guys something. I will use that to close this live, because this is why we have to be careful the nonsense we take from these people, because these people are out of their minds. They're not serious people. They lie, they exaggerate, they intentionally get things wrong because they want to try and, again, discredit Meghan and make her sound like the success that she's having is not real. And it's so funny that these people are literally stalking her trademark. So they must know that something is up. Why would, I keep asking this question, why would Netflix play that game with Meghan? Why would Netflix play that game with Meghan? For the Rangers in my chat who like coming into my space for some reason to come and talk nonsense, please, I need you to explain to me why Netflix, of all people, will be playing this game with you and with Meghan. Is Penny Lane still here? Penny, come and explain to us in the chat. Has she run away? Explain to us in the chat why Netflix will be lying, or why Meghan would even lie about her sales. Why? To what end? How does that help her? How does that help her? If she has 3 million followers, let's imagine half of those followers are real fans, and she's selling goods to 1.5 million people. I'm just saying, isn't that enough to make her very wealthy? I think so. I think it is. Bear with me. There we go. I want to show you something.
Here we go again.
Because the British media are stalkers, they were able to find the supplier of Meghan's tea. Now, I want everybody to remember, Meghan has a business partnership with Netflix. Yes? Are we on the same page? Yeah? And that business partnership means that you're going to help fund her supply chain. Yes? Are we on the same page? Good. Now for those of you who may not have read it, let's look at some of the teas that are created by Republic of Tea.
Here are the 3 teas that Republic of Tea made to celebrate Bridgerton Season 3. There's Colin and Penelope with a ginger vanilla black tea. There's Eloise with a lemon mint black tea. And then finally Francesca, a rose chamomile herbal tea. The packaging's pretty and the tea tastes good. All of them can be made hot or iced. I prefer them hot. Thanks for watching.
So you see that there? Does that confirm what we already said about the relationship between Meghan and Netflix and the Republic of Tea? Let's get some more information about the Republic of Tea, shall we? So all I wanted to show you guys there was the Republic of Tea. They are clearly suppliers. They are clearly people who make tea. And I believe that they have been contracted by Netflix to make some specialty, niche, bespoke teas. We saw the Bridgerton tea. Now they are helping to blend. They are suppliers for the Meghan blend. But then again, anybody with 2 functioning brain cells would have known that. Did they expect Meghan to make the tea in her kitchen? In her house? Would she not need a supplier who has access to ingredients so that they can make it at scale? Are you deranged out of your mind? But maybe you are. But because, guys, let's be clear. The point of the Royal Rota is not to report facts. It's not to report truth. They are there to spread conspiracy theory, to try and discredit Harry and Meghan while propping up the royal family. That is literally what they do. That's literally all they have to do. So yeah, I just wanted to show people that, again, if you're new to the Harry and Meghan space, you need to question everything you hear from the royal press. They lie. We just spoke, so let me recap everything we've spoken about. We've spoken about the fact that William has been involved in a cash for access scheme. The only reason why he was backing out of it is because one of the people that did it became public. I don't want us to lose sight of that. We spoke about the fact that the British press will always use Harry's name when talking about William because they know nobody gives a damn. 2 and 3, Charles is most likely not going to go to the Invictus Games. Yes, there's 2 years, but they started to make excuses for Charles already because they know how bad it's going to look if he does not go. Now, I'm happy to be corrected. I don't know what they're right. 2 years is a long time, but I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat? Do you think Charles is going to go? I don't think so, but they're going to find a way to make this Harry's fault because, of course, they are. Not that Charles is a terrible father and a horrible and a selfish, childish head of state. And then lastly, right, this Meghan conversation on As Ever. Again, the Rangers, use the brain cells that you have. Netflix is Meghan's business partner. They're not playing these shenanigans and games with you. They are here to make money. They are right. Meghan is not George Clooney. Meghan is Meghan. They are betting on her to see what can come out of her access or reach. Why would they play these games? I want you to use your common sense here. Why would they play these games? To what end? How does it benefit them to say they sold 5 products to pretend things sold out? How does that help anybody? How does that help a business grow? Netflix is here to make money, love. They're not here to waste their time. So if you think Meghan is only selling 10 jars of jam, you're really a very stupid person, or you're just a very stupid person. What do you think, guys? So guys, thank you all for your continued support. Please continue to support the channel. Please continue to like, share, subscribe. Please support the channel financially with super chats. Anything you can give is appreciated, or join my membership. Sorry for doing this on a Sunday, and I prepared to do it on a Saturday, but Saturday was not possible. I hope you guys enjoyed the live. I hope this camera is much better. I'll watch it back. I think it's a bit better than the last one. But yeah, thank you for all your support, guys. I'm so grateful, and have a good week. Oh, I'm going to post. Don't forget, 1st of July, Meghan's wine comes out. If you can, I know many of us have still not received our packages yet. Please be patient. And Meghan, this is, let me say in closing, Meghan and Netflix, if by now you've not understood, Meghan has fans. It is time to scale up delivery, and it is time to scale up manufacturing. Don't be shy. I know this is a food-based product and you don't want to overdo, but I think it's time to start scaling up production. We need international shipping. We need faster way to get our goods, guys. I understand you've had 2 drops. You should have enough data to start planning, right? We want faster delivery. We want international shipping. Netflix, stop being stingy. Guys, please continue to like and subscribe. It's been nice chatting with all of you. I will catch you again before the drop. I might do a live for the drop. I don't know. If I'm home, I will. But yeah, catch you guys later. Bye.